Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Halo Effect. As usual, Robert Lockhart here as your host, the Sox and Baseball. This particular show is basically touching on the trade deadline. Now, the Angels had a lot of equity that they can utilize to bring in some good pieces. I mean, some good pieces. That was headlined by left-hander Tyler Anderson. Yeah, he's still with the Angels. Angels didn't trade him. I mean, the man was controllable through next year. He's really found his pitching ability. He's rediscovered his 2022 self that he was with the Dodgers. Yet they hang on to him. A little interesting. Not entirely sure why. But let's see, what else do they have? Is Luis Rengifo has really turned himself into a major player for the Halos. He's done really well this season. He's just gotten better over the last 3 seasons, and he's obviously turned himself into an excellent everyday player. Also controllable through next year. Angels still got him. Never traded him. Still have him. I don't even know why, to be honest with you. I mean, Rendon's back in the lineup. Michael Stefanik is doing really well at the plate. He's not the best defender in the world, but I mean, he was hitting 385 in AAA. Now he's hitting somewhere, over 300 for the Angels at this point, and the man's got a 5-game hitting streak. Most of them multi-hit games. So why hang on to Rengifo? You could have really brought back something decent. I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Other trade pieces that they had, they talked about trading Taylor Ward. I don't want to trade Taylor Ward. I wouldn't trade him. He's already been an all-star. He's having a down season this year because he's kind of the guy in the lineup without Trout. And, really kind of, tutoring the young guys, with, Trout out and Ohtani gone. He's been the guy, and that's a lot of pressure on him. So he hasn't exactly responded well to that, but he's a great supporting player. He always has been. If you got, Trout in the lineup, if the young guys really start coming to fruition, he can be the supporting player again and maybe have another all-star season. That's Taylor Ward. So honestly, I would, like I said, I'd hang on to him, sign him long-term. And nice team-friendly deal that looks nice to him because either way it's going to be a bump in pay. I think I said something about this a couple shows ago. So with that said, I'm basically going to tell you about the players that they did get. Let's see. They only traded Luis Garcia, which the fact they got anything for him was hey, that's nice. Then they also traded Carlos Estevez, and they traded him to the Phillies. That having the Phillies as a trade partner was something I would have liked from day one. I mean, I liked it from day one. However, the players coming back, not quite what I'd had in mind. Although, I will touch on that right now. You see, I would have gone with a Tyler Anderson trade to the Phillies because they could use another back-end rotation guy, and he'd be perfect for them. And, maybe coupled with a prospect or two to bring in pitching prospects Andrew Painter and Micah Bell. Now, Andrew Painter's recovering from Tommy John, and Micah Bell's not having the best season. He's in AAA, but his control's off. He just hasn't been the same kind of pitcher when he was drafted out of high school. But remember, this guy's still 21 years old. If that, he may very well just be 20. He's just moved fast, because I think he was a 2022 or 2021 pick for the Phillies. And still, he's got amazing stuff. His control just hasn't come around, or his control's regressed. I'm trying to remember how the report went. But either way, his control's off right now. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to get better. But what the Angels did get was left-handed pitcher Samuel Aldegari and young right-hander out of the University of Minnesota by the name of George Clausen. Now, these guys were kind of lower on the totem pole. These were like the number 23 and number 29 pitchers for the Phillies. So you figure, oh, great. So all they picked up was a couple of relief pitchers? Not necessarily. Both of them were said to be moving up. So if I remember correctly, I believe they said that Aldegari was going to be their number 9 prospect when the reevaluation of the prospects list came out, and Clausen was going to be number 7. So that was a major moves up. Now, in the Angels system, they're number 3 and number 7, respectively. No, number 3, number 8. I'm sorry. Aldegari, as a left-hander, mid-rotation guy, basically average across the board. Finds the strike zone, very elusive with his pitches. Like I said, his pitches basically average across the board. So, I mean, it's having something like that is, reliable, it's solid, you like that. George Clausen, he's the interesting one. So the dude operates at about 98 regularly. He averages 98 with his fastball, touches triple digits. He's got a slider that will, just absolutely freeze you. His changeup, not great. But he does have a really good curveball. I mean, this is a guy who looks like a number 1. I mean, he looked really bad his last year at the University of Minnesota, which is why he went in the 6th round to the Phillies. But when he's at his best, the dude's a first-round pick. Easy. I mean, easy. This guy looks like a head of rotation starter to me. The way he's been pitching, I mean, let's see. He's in high A right now, pitching to a 1.97 ERA. Let's take a quick look at this guy, and I will give you a little bit more information for him. George Clausen. Yeah, the changeup is still developing. His curveball and slider combination is good secondary pitches. His fastball averages, like I said, about 98. His stats at this point in time, he's got a 4-2 record with a 1.96 ERA in 15 games started, 64 1/3 innings pitched, only 40 hits given up. Of those 40 hits, only 3 are home runs, a 99-24 strikeout to walk ratio. Batters are averaging $1.75 in the batting average against him. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. I like where that's going. And that's not just that, he actually just got promoted to Double-A. So I stand corrected, ladies and gentlemen. He is in Double-A for the Angels at this point in time. He's going to move fast. Something I like to see. So, the Angels farm system has basically been one of the worst, if not the worst, over the past few years. It has seriously improved now, simply just with Clausen and Aldegari. Now, I will touch in just 1 second on the guys that they got for Luis Garcia, who, by the way, was traded to Boston. They didn't get a ton. What they did get was an outfielder, a couple of pitchers, and a first baseman / DH. Matthew Lugo, not going to be the best hitter in the world, although he's hitting decently right now. Very well could be like a 4th outfielder for the Angels in the future. And the other guy that I thought was interesting was Nico Cavadas. I touched last time about Ryan Nicholson, about being the future left-handed thump the Angels needed when Ohtani left. Cavadas has that in spades. He's a good hitter. Well, he's a decent hitter. He's got a lot of swing and miss that, well, pretty much every slugger has. But his power, man, this guy demolishes balls. Seriously, he's got just a very heavy swing, and like I said, he doesn't get cheated. So when he connects, man, does he connect. And he's pretty close to the big leagues from what I understand, and he's most likely going to be a DH. He's not really going to hit first base a whole lot. His range is terrible. He's not a very fast runner. So with that, the Angels only traded 2 relievers. They kept everybody else. I don't no idea what they're going to do in the offseason. I know what I would do, but that's just what I would do. So I'm going to leave it there. The draft went well for the Angels. The trade deadline went okay. It went well. Not as expected, but went well. And actually, there's a lot to look forward to. For the first time in a while, I'm actually excited for the Angels. So, with that said, here's hoping, ladies and gentlemen. Go Halos.